right, Unit 5-star review, if you have not turned it in. These are all graphs. A lot of these aren't even really math. Like, you don't even have to solve a lot. You're just kind of matching the graphs or the tables. So number 1, a water hose discharges water at a rate of 45 gallons per minute, so per 1 minute. Which graph has a slope that best represents this rate? So I can look at these graphs, and all of them on the X have minutes. And so if it's 45 gallons in 1 minute, that means I need to look at the 1 on each graph, and it should be crossing at 45 is what that means. So looking at F, my line, I can make a point here, and that is at 45. So far F seems to work. 1 also crosses at 45, but the problem is that wouldn't be per minute. It's saying it's 45 every single time. With slope, it should be increasing if it's per minute. So H is not going to work. G crosses at 15 per 1 minute, so it can't be G. J crosses at, you can make a point at about 60. So the only one that would work would be F. 2, Leonore pays a total of $16.50 for every 6 shirts she has dry cleaned. Which graph models a relationship between, or relationship with the same unit rate? Unit rate, remember, means per 1. So if it's $16.50 for 6, we want to see what the price of 1 would be. So all we're doing to solve that is dividing it. So $16.50 divided by 1. Nope, just kidding. $16.50 divided by 6 is 2.75. So 2.75 for 1 shirt. So it looks like, I'm assuming that the X value is talking about the shirts, and so it should be crossing about 275. So on 1, it crosses at like 16, 17, and that's the price of 6 shirts. So that would not work. F crosses about halfway to 5, so that might work because 275 would be a little over halfway to 5, between 0 and 5. 1 for 1 shirt, it crosses at 10. That does not work. J for 1 shirt, it crosses at like 23. Approximate the volume. For volume, F fluid ounces is equal to, 29.57 times the value of F. So whatever F is, we're multiplying this by that. So which table represents this relationship? So if I look at F, and it says I'm multiplying 29.57 times F. So 29.57 times 29.57 would be much bigger than 1. I don't even know what it would be, but it would not be 1. So F can't work. Okay, on H, if I multiply 29.57 times 0, anytime you multiply anything by 0, you get 0. Same thing on G. G is the same as F. If we multiply 29.57 times 29.57, we're not going to get 0. It's going to be a big, long number. So the only one it could be is J, because if we multiply 1 times 29.57, then we get 29.57. Which graph shows a proportional relationship between X and Y? Proportional on a graph means it goes through the origin, or 0, 0. An aquarium is being filled with water. The graph shows the height of the water over time as the aquarium is being filled. What best describes the rate of change? So this is the same as slope. So let's find 2 good points. I think this, let's use 0, 0, because that's an easy one. 0, 0, and then this one. I'm using this one because it's not in between, so I wouldn't have to deal with the decimal. So I'm going to use 0, 0, and 4, 10. and then use your slope formula. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so do y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And that will give you your slope. They're all different. The next one, the value of y varies directly with the value of x. So that's telling you what your fraction looks like. It looks like that. So when y is 75 and x is 1/2, I'm going to divide that and turn it into a decimal. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. What is the value of y when x is 2 1/4? So I don't know what y is when x is 2 1/4. I'm going to turn that into a decimal also. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25, so 2.25. And this is just a proportion. So we're going to multiply 75 times 2.25 and divide by 0.5. Number 7, which table contains only corresponding x values and y values where the value of y is 3 more, so we're adding 3, then the quotient of x and 2. Okay, so we're going to say x divided by 2 plus 3 will give us y equals y. So on all of these tables, they all have 10, and I'm going to use that because that'll be the easiest thing for me to divide by 2 in my head. Okay, so f, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. Is that what f gives us for y? No. Okay, and since they're all the same, I'm just looking for 8 then. Nope, nope. Okay, find the table. This is on the next page. I just printed this from Schoology. Find the table that shows the equation y equals 1/2 x plus 3. What? 1/2 x plus 3? I feel like I must have printed something wrong. Oh no. Well, wherever your table is on your Schoology, I think I missed a page. Make sure you find either where x is 0 and y is 3, or go backwards in your table by 0.5 until you reach 0 and 3. A tree in Dante's neighborhood grew 18 inches in the first 2 years after it was planted. If the tree continues to grow at the same rate, which graph best represents the growth rate per year? Okay, so 18 inches in the first 2 years. So that would mean 9 inches per year. Or on these, they have year 2. So really, if we just look at year 2, then we need to see where it crosses at 18. So F crosses at, our line crosses at 36. H is out. It's not, nope, that's no slope. 2 crosses at 18, or G crosses at 18, and then J crosses at 72. On a field trip, there are 3 adults for every 45 students, which graph models a relationship with the same unit rate. Okay, so we can kind of tell just by how they numbered it that this x-axis is the students and the y is the adults. So we need to look at, either way, we can look at where 45 should be, which would be in between 30 and 60. And it should line up with, again, I'm going to get rid of this one. Always get rid of, if you see one like this where it's just a straight line this way or this way, it's automatically out. Okay, so that 45 where I drew that black line should line up with 3. Okay, so on F, it lines up with 1, H, and then G. A hot air balloon is released at ground level and it rises into the air at a constant rate. After 5 seconds, the height of the balloon is 20 feet. So 20 feet in 5 seconds. The balloon continues to rise at the same rate. Which table represents this relationship? So if it's 20 feet, we can kind of make our own table, really. So if it's 20 feet in 5 seconds, and we can go up and down. That's why I put that in the middle. So if I go up to 10 seconds, then that means this would double too, and it would go up to 40. So let's look at our tables and see what we have. So 10, that wouldn't work. 10. Okay, so H and J both have 10 and 40, and that works. But then if we doubled it one more time, say we went up to 20, then that means we would be doubling this one more time. Rudolfo has 15 toys in his toy box, and he adds 2 new toys every month. Okay, so if he has 15 toys, he starts with 15. That's your y-intercept. So if we look at F, if we had to work our way backwards, ideally we would be working backwards to get to 15, but it's already at 8. So we couldn't, it wouldn't be possible to get back to 15. That doesn't work. This one doesn't work either, because look at the change there. So if the slope is 2, it wouldn't make sense for us to go from 17 to 68. That wouldn't work either. So between G and J, and if I know that it starts at 15, which one makes the most sense? We started with 15 toys, not with 0. Joseph ran a 6-mile race in 48 minutes. Which graph has a slope that best represents the average speed? Okay, so 48 minutes in, 6 miles in 48 minutes. So how many minutes per 1 mile? We're going to divide that. So 48 divided by 6 is 8. So he's running an 8-minute mile. Your minutes are here, so we want to find 8. 8, 8. 8. Where does your line cross? At 1. Again, I see a straight line. Goodbye. Oh. 13. The amount of water in an electric dishwasher uses to wash dishes varies directly with the number of loads. Okay. Okay. Water loads. I read that weird. Okay, so if it uses 32 gallons of water to wash 4 loads, how many gallons, that's what we don't know, that's where my X goes, will the dishwasher use to wash 10 loads? This is a proportion, cross multiply, and divide. An oil well contractor drills a shaft 7 meters deeper into the ground every 2 hours. Okay, so these on the side are all negatives because he's drilling down. So he's going below the surface. So we want to look at the 2-hour mark. Yep, straight line, goodbye. 2 hours. Okay, so that means at 2 hours, my line should be crossing at about 7. So F is crossing at almost 5. Not quite, but almost. H is crossing, if that's 5, then that would, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8. And then 2, this one's crossing at like 16, 15 or 16. Okay, which statement accurately describes this relation? All of these are saying they're a function. F says does not represent a function. G says it is a function. H says it's not. J says it is. Look at only your X values. Decide if it is a function or not. And then see what makes the most sense for the reasoning. Why would it not be a function? Remember, your X's cannot repeat. Which is a function? X's cannot repeat. X values cannot repeat. This one is slope. Find the slope. We're going to use, we can use a sky right here, and we can use a sky. Or, since that one is kind of weird, I'm going to do this one too. So we've got our 2 points. We've got 30 and 40, and 40 and 80. Okay, use your slope formula. X1, Y1, X2, Y2, Y2 minus Y1, X2 minus X1. slope and y-intercept, I would just use the two smallest. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So that would be 1460 minus 1220, and then 8 minus 6. And from there, so since there's 2 of each of the slopes, once you get your slope, you're going to have to work backwards. They don't leave you any choice. I would rewrite the table, and the goal is to get back to 0. So right now they gave you 6. They gave you 6 and 12, 20. So whatever your slope is, we have to subtract all the way back until we get to 0. Scientific notation, remember your new decimal goes after the 5, and then count backwards. 1, 2, 3 to your old decimal. Since it's a tiny number, meaning it starts with a bunch of zeros, and we counted to the left, that exponent is negative. Same thing, but standard. So look at your exponent, it's negative. That means we're going to move the decimal to the left.